Hello, Body Messiah. Today we're going to have a message that's titled Messiah's Body. You have every right. And what we're talking about here is associated with soliciting and placing forth prayers before the Most High God. This message is specifically for those who are Hebrew, descendants of Patriarch Abraham, and descendants of Israel, and grafted in Hebrews. And it's calling on for you to keep in mind as we begin to enter a more tumultuous time as we move forward, warring against the beast and Babylonian system. And I have some scriptures here to keep us reminded of the plans that the Most High has for us as we engage in this battle on a spiritual level. We've seen so much things happen to the ancient descendants of Israel, the trauma that we've experienced outside of just slavery of the past, systematic oppression, attacks from various peoples just out of sheer hatred for us. And we know it's the enemy trying to bring us down, trying to destroy us, trying to make us miserable, okay? But we know how the story ends based on the word of the Most High God. And so this message is to encourage you to place things before the Most High God at his altar for him to judge and for him to deal with. You should have every bit of confidence, knowing the covenant that he has made with your forefathers, to understand that you have every right to bring forth someone, to place them at the throne of the Most High God, someone who has dealt with you treacherously, negatively, and hatefully. So, Body of Messiah, I wanted to point out some scriptures here. I'm going to read these two scriptures to you, but I wanted to point out an old scripture in the book of Jasher. That's one of the apocryphal books, okay, the book of Jasher. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, I know there's still a lot of people who feel like descendants of Edom, the Edomite people, or evil, bad, negative people. And like I said, the stance that Sadrico Bible Studies has is that when you look in Deuteronomy chapter 23, specifically verse 8, and we're dealing with the Tree of Life version of the Bible. Sometimes it's a different scripture, whether or not it's King James, but it specifically says, do not hate your Edomite brother. But still some people are still in the valley of decision when it comes to the Edomite people, saying that no, they're against us. They try to attack Jacob or what have you. Based on the biblical heritage charts, based on the DNA, they are Hebrew. Okay? How they choose to worship, just like every single one of us, is on them. All right? Adonai gives us free will. Sorry again, Body Messiah. Anyway, for those who still feel that way, I wanted to point out this scripture again in the book of Jasher. The book of Jasher, chapter 63 and chapter 64. If you can get a copy of the book of Jasher electronic, read it. In here, you have a descendant of Edom, a grandson of Esau, whose name is Zepho. All right? Here in the scripture, Jasher chapter 63, specifically in verse 22 through 27, Zepho is crying out to the Most High God. And he's reminding the Most High God of the covenant that the Most High God made with his forefathers. And he's asking him to spare him and let him be victorious in a war, right? So we're pointing out the fact in Sadrico Bible Study, if he felt that he had the right to call on the Most High God in order to shield and protect him and allow him to win a war based on his birthright and the covenant that Adonai made with his forefathers, what does that mean for the rest of us? The same thing. When I've seen situations out here, for instance, one heartbreaking situation where this young Hebrew brother and sister, their child was taken. A 2-month-old baby, I think, or 2-day-old baby. They pulled them around the interstate. And I saw it on African Diaspora News. And the people came to take her child. And the way that sister cried out for that child to be ripped away and taken from her, it hurts you to your core. That brother and sister, along with other Hebrew followers of the Most High God, have the right to call on the Most High God to deal with those who hurt them treacherously. By simply saying a prayer like this has been one prayer, and I'm going to say it, I usually like to pray and cover my head, but I'm just going to state what my prayers usually are in someone dealing treacherously with me. Adonai, I place them before your altar. They have hurt me and done an injustice to me. And so, Adonai, I pray that you will allow them to feel the pain that I feel when they have done something treacherous to me and are trying to torment me, times 2 or 3. Whenever they go through whatever you put them through, may they be reminded of what they've done to me. And every single instance where it was a just situation where I have not done nothing wrong towards them or evil or treacherous, Adonai has come through and made sure that they were placed before him. They had to answer to him through an event in their life that would make them be reminded of how they treated me. If Zepho, being a descendant of Edom, has the confidence to call on the Most High God and remind him of the covenant he made with their forefathers, you have every right. But now keep in mind, as we look here in this scripture, Zepho became victorious and he won a particular battle, but he became arrogant. And look in Jasher chapter 64, specifically verse 5, it says that he totally forgot about the Most High God. Totally forgot. Went about his own way, had a celebration, basically saying, I did this, we're victorious, and he didn't consider the Most High God and what the Most High God had done for him, right? So in this scripture, Jasher 64:5, it says he totally forgot about God. Do not ever forget from which comes your help. Never forget about your shield, your protector, and who covers you in his shalom. When Zepho forgot, and he began to call on some of his other Hebrew brothers, some of the Edomite brothers, some of the Ishmaelites, to try and fight against the Egyptians and the Israelites, he didn't consider the Most High God anymore. He had the audacity to turn towards Balaam. Isn't that ironic? So when you were losing, you cried out to the Most High and you won. But then you went back in all your arrogance, calling on other brothers to war against your other brothers, and you didn't consider the Most High God, and you called on the seer Balaam to try and curse Israel. It says here, when we go to Jasher chapter 64, verse 34 and 35 specifically, Israel cried out to the Most High God, asking for his shield and his protection to be victorious. And Israel defeated Zepho and all of the armies that were along with Zepho. They slaughtered about 4,000 men, and not a one Israelite man died or warrior died. Body of Messiah, you have every right to call on the Most High God to deal with those who deal with you treacherously. Now, as we're moving forward in all of this tumultuous time, because now the Babylonian beast system is ratcheting it up as far as this predecessor goes, and they're going to start trying to require so many outrageous things to try and push people in order to take it, that we're going to have to go before the Most High God in prayer and place those who deal treacherously with us before his altar. You have every right. I want you guys, in order to, for a refresher, an old lesson, just to look at, you can go for about 20 minutes into this lesson. This lesson was a little long. It was about 36 minutes. And this lesson lesson is Messiah's body, you are never to seek their shalom. Okay? And go 20 minutes into this lesson, and we kind of break down this whole story regarding Zepho and the descendants of Israel and how that unfolds. And we also talk about workers of iniquity in the latter days. Be strong and steadfast. Trust in the Most High more than ever. And don't waver to the left or the right. Work together for the good for them who loves the Most High God. Now, I'm going to read Psalms 46 and 91. So hold on one moment. Okay, Body Messiah. I'm going to read Psalms 46, chapter 46 verse. And it says, for the music director, the sons of Korah, according to Almath, a song. God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth change, though the mountains topple into the heart of the seas, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains quake at their swelling. Selah. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of Adonai Elohim, the holy dwelling place of EL-ELYON. Adonai is in the midst of her, and she will not be shaken. Adonai will help her when morning dawns. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, and the earth melts. Adonai Tzvaot is with us. The Adonai, the God of Jacob, is our stronghold. Selah. Come see the works of Adonai, who brings devastation on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns chariots with fire. Be still and know that I am Elohim. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. Adonai Tzvaot is with us. The Elohim of Jacob is our strong tower. Selah. Powerful scripture. Now, if you can't get a clear visual of who our God is, and be comforted by that, and confident that it's okay for us to call on him in our times of distress or even in times of persecution. It's as clear cut as clear can be. Now I'm going to read Psalms 91. And this section is titled, Dwell in the Shelter of EL-ELYON. That means the Most High God. He who dwells in the shelter of EL-ELYON will abide in the shadows of Shaddai. I will say of Adonai, he is my refuge and my fortress, my Elohim in whom I trust. For he will rescue you from the hunter's trap and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his feather, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is body armor and shield. You will not fear the terror by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the plague that stalks in darkness, nor the scourge that lay waste at noon. 1,000 may fall at your side, then 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look on with your eyes and see the wicked paid back. For you have made EL-ELYON your dwelling, even Adonai, who is my refuge. So no evil will befall you, nor any plague come near your tent. For he will give his angels charge over you, to guard you in all your ways. Upon their hands they will lift you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lions and the cobra, trample the young lion and serpent. Because he has devoted his love to me, I will deliver him. He's talking about Jacob, the descendants of Israel. I will deliver him. I will set him securely on high, because he knows my name. When he calls on me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, rescue him, and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. I don't know how much clearer it can be, body of Messiah. In these tumultuous times, do not be in distress. Call on the Most High God, even when it's not tumultuous time. You know, it's a blessing when we do have complete peace. But He is our strong shield when we're going through the torment or the aggravation or the annoyance of those who are trying to bring us down, trying to oppress us. Be strong, because you have every right to call on the Most High God during these times of distress when people mistreat you. Be confident in that. But don't go out there calling on the Most High God and you're raising all kinds of Cain, raising all types of hell, and trying to cause conflict between the brethren. Abide by His standards. Never forget the promise that our Most High God made in Deuteronomy chapter 30. Read the first 7 verses. How He said He will fully restore us and gather us from the 4 corners of the earth. He said, as we turn back to His statutes and His commands, this is what He's going to do. So make sure that you're doing your best to abide by His standards. Call on Him in your time of distress. Call on Him and place those before His altar that mistreat you and do us wrongly, because you have every right. Well, body of Messiah, this is the end of this message and lesson, and I hope you learn these scriptures. I will post some over the door frames of our house, like especially Psalms 46 or Psalms 91. Pick your scripture, because He is our shield and our protection. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope and pray you're able to join me for many, many more. And like I always say to you, may Adonai Elohim cover and surround you and your family, shield and protect you all, and envelop you in His shalom peace. Goodbye.